currently Tuesday evening and I have been waiting for the weather to get slightly nicer so the lighting would be nice to film in. That's just not happening. But we're gonna power through with the bad lighting. That's how much commitment I have. I did warn you that there was gonna be another book haul. I'm not even sorry about it. There are very, very beautiful books, both on the inside and the outside. The first book I picked up this month was The Land of Decoration by Grace McClean. I didn't know anything about this book when I picked it up. It was pretty much a cover buy, but what a beautiful cover buy it is. And it's got like dark purple, almost like brown edges to the pages. It's just utterly beautiful. It also has a testimonial from Emma Donoghue, who wrote Room, which was by far one of my favourite books so far this year. So I couldn't resist picking it up, and it only cost me £1. Oh, just look at these end pages, look at them. Because this was kind of a cover buy, I don't know that much about the actual contents of this book, other than I think it is about a young girl who kind of works miracles and has some sort of powers, and it's about father and daughter relationships, which has been a big part of my reading lately. So yeah, very much looking forward to this book and very much looking forward to taking pictures of this book when I'm reading it. Next, I have 3 books that I managed to get for free somehow in book swaps, and I was shocked when I saw them on the book swap shelf. They are such great books that I really wanted, and they are really nice editions of them. They're not all in brilliant condition, but still. The first one of those is Dracula by Bram Stoker, and I managed to get the Penguin English Library edition of this, and I love these editions just so much. It's not in the most brilliant condition ever, but I couldn't resist. I don't think I really need to go into a brief synopsis of the plot. I think most of us know what Dracula's all about. I have this beautiful edition of Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. But yeah, this is the Puffin Chalk edition, and it is possibly one of the most gorgeous books I have ever owned. I didn't read Pippi Longstockings as a child. I think I kind of missed out on a lot of the really famous children's classics when I was a young reader. But as far as I know, this is about a girl named Pippi Longstockings who doesn't have any parents and has like stripy tights, and how her arrival leads to so many fantastic adventures for her neighbours. And the final really brilliant book that I picked up for free was Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. Obviously this is the second book in the Throne of Glass series, and I really wanted to continue with this series when I read the first one. I wasn't as impressed by it as a lot of people were, but I still really wanted to continue with the series, and I didn't know when that was going to happen because I didn't see myself spending money on the second book, but I managed to get it for free, so that is absolutely brilliant. This book is kind of about what happens to the assassin after she wins the tournament and actually has to begin killing for the crown, and she doesn't want to kill for the crown. I also bought a number of ebooks this month, which is just dangerous, okay? Ebooks are dangerous. So easy to buy. You just need to do a couple clicks and then you own like 10 jillion books. So one of the first ebooks that I got this month was Dietland by Sarai Walker. I think that's how you pronounce her name. This is about a woman named Plum Kettle, which, what a name. Plum really struggles with her weight and is waiting to have weight loss surgery and just generally not happy about her life and appearance. She then becomes part of a kind of underground group of women who live life the way they want to live it. And I'm not sure exactly what that entails yet, but I'm really looking forward to this book. It is meant to be about the beauty industry and the diet industry and gender inequality, so that's just totally my jam. Next, I have a book that I have been seeing in so many places, and it has been recommended by so many people whose opinions I really trust. And that is You by Caroline Kepnes. This is a thriller, and I don't normally read thrillers, so I'm really looking forward to trying something new. It starts with a man named Joe who works in a bookstore, and when a very beautiful young woman comes into the store, he Googles the name that was on her credit card. From then on in, he begins to discover so much information about her. He begins to stalk her, and crafts himself into being her perfect man. All very, very dangerous stuff. As I said, this book comes very highly recommended from various people whose opinions I trust, such as Joss and Kristen, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this book. Next, I have My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece by Annabel Pitcher. This would be my second Annabel Pitcher novel. I read Ketchup Clouds last year and I quite enjoyed it. But the premise of this book appeals to me a lot more than Ketchup Clouds did. This is about a 10-year-old boy named Jamie coming to terms with the loss of Rose, who presumably is his sister. Rose's death kind of tore the family apart, understandably, but Jamie hasn't really come to terms with it. He hasn't cried about it. I've read a lot of books from the point of view of a child this year, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of them, so hopefully this one will be up there with those as well. Next, I have a book that I'm sure you have all heard of, and that is The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. This was shortlisted for the Bailey's Women's Prize for Fiction, and I have been dying to get to it ever since I started seeing it everywhere. The Improbability of Love is about a painting. It is about a woman who finds an old painting in a charity shop and then realizes that this painting is very valuable, and she gets drawn into the art world. And I don't know an awful lot about the art world, and it has been something that I've been trying to learn bits and pieces about gradually, so I'm hoping that I can learn a lot about it through The Improbability of Love. Next, I have Andrew Kaufman's All My Friends Are Superheroes, and this is a book I've been meaning to get to for such a long time, and I don't know why I haven't, because it's such a short read. This is about a man named Tom, and his wife on their wedding day is hypnotized so that she thinks Tom is invisible. Like, she can't see Tom at all, and she becomes convinced that Tom has abandoned her, which sounds like a totally baffling concept for a book, but this book comes on so many people's like best book lists or best short books list, so I am really looking forward to finally getting to this book and seeing if it lives up to all of that hype. Next, I have Lies We Tell Ourselves by Robin Talley, and I'm cautious going into this book. I had quite mixed feelings on the last Robin Talley book that I read. I think there were a few issues with representation in the last book of hers I read. What was that called? And I think this book has the potential to suffer from similar issues. This is set in Virginia in 1959, and it is about two teenage girls, Sarah and Linda, and how their lives begin to interlock. Sarah is the first black student to attend the high school that this book is set in, and Linda is the daughter of one of the people in the town who is most opposed to the schools being integrated and mixed. So it is about two girls who are on the opposite sides of the battle for civil rights in America. That premise totally appeals to me. I'm just slightly cautious of how it's been written and what kind of research has gone into it. As I said, I did have a few problems with representation in Robin Talley's last book that I read, but fingers crossed that I will thoroughly enjoy this one. Next, I have If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, and this is probably the book in this haul I am looking forward to getting to the most. It is a YA book about trans issues, and I always look for more representation in what I read. So this is about a girl named Amanda who goes to a new high school and how she settles into that high school and the relationships and bonds she begins to form. She begins to form one particularly strong bond with a boy named Grant and really wants to let him into her life. But there's one aspect of her past that she's really struggling to bring up with Grant, and that was before Amanda went by the name Amanda, she went by the name Andrew. From what I can tell from descriptions and reviews of this book, it is a really, really strong representation of trans issues. Hopefully I will think the same when I'm finished with it. And even more importantly, hopefully the trans community does think it's a good representation. You may or may not be aware that I started volunteering in an Oxfam bookshop this month, and it's very dangerous because I can buy books while I'm on a shift, and these two happened. I have The Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Revels There, and The Girl Who Soared Over Fairyland and Cut the Moon in Two by Catherine and Valente. I read the first book in the Fairyland series this month, and if you want to hear more about my thoughts on that, it will be in my June reading wrap-up. They are in like brand new edition. It is so crazy that someone gave these away and so crazy that I got them for so cheap. They are such beautiful books inside and out, so I am definitely looking forward to getting these. I'm kind of frustrated that I've got so many different formats of them. The first book I read on my Kindle app, and obviously this is a paperback and this is a hardback. But nonetheless, thoroughly looking forward to getting to the both of these. So yeah, I acquired quite a lot of books over the month of June, but all of the physical books I got are absolutely beautiful, and all of the ebooks that I got, I am thoroughly looking forward to reading. I am contemplating doing a discussion video on book hauls and why we seem to apologise for them so much. I'm definitely subject to doing a lot as well, like giving excuses for why I buy books, and I have a lot of thoughts on why I do that and why we as a community do that. So if that is something you would be interested in hearing me discuss, then do let me know down in the comments. I have a lot of different thoughts floating around my head about it. Be sure to let me know if you've read any of these books and if there are any of them that I need to get to like right now. If you are new to this channel, and I know quite a lot of you are, so thank you for subscribing, I make videos every Wednesday and every Sunday, so you can look forward to those.